You're cruising down the highway at full speed. Without warning, the brake lights ahead bloom like a red horizon. Traffic collapses. You crawl forward for minutes. And when it finally clears, there's nothing. No crash, no construction, not even a stray cone. It feels impossible. But here's the strange part. This kind of traffic jam doesn't need a cause. It can form out of thin air. In 2008, researchers in Japan proved this phenomenon. They placed 22 cars on a circular track, about 750 feet around, with no exits, no merges, no lane changes. Drivers were told to maintain a constant speed and equal spacing. At first, everything worked. Then one driver slowed. The next slowed more. The next braked harder. Within minutes, traffic broke down completely. Cars stopped, then accelerated, then stopped again. They created a loop of congestion with no origin. And the strangest part, the jam moved backward through traffic at about 12 miles per hour. The same speed real traffic waves travel on highways every day. That's the first clue. Traffic isn't random. It behaves the same way, every time. On any road, three things control everything: speed, spacing, and flow. Here's the part most people never realize. Driving faster doesn't move more cars. It moves fewer. Because as speed increases, drivers spread out. And when spacing increases, fewer cars fit on the road. Traffic flows best at a steady, moderate speed, not at maximum speed. But no one drives that way. And once traffic breaks down, something even more important happens. The road becomes less efficient. A highway carrying around 2,000 cars per lane per hour might carry only 1,700 after congestion starts. Even if demand drops back to what it was before, traffic doesn't recover right away. Demand has to fall below the new, lower threshold before it can climb back out. That's why traffic lingers long after rush hour should be over. It's not just slow, it's stuck in a lower capacity state. A driver taps the brakes. Someone hesitates to merge. Another switches lanes. Each action is small, but each one forces the next driver to react slightly later and slightly harder. That shockwave moves backward, growing as it goes. By the time it reaches you, a tiny slowdown has turned into a full stop. So that explains how traffic can form. But that raises a bigger question. Why does it always come back? Why does every fix seem temporary? It's simple. The moment driving gets easier, more people start driving. Drivers who use side streets switch back to the highway. Drivers who traveled earlier or later shift into the peak window. People who used public transit, carpools, or avoided driving altogether start driving again. This is what's called triple convergence, and it's been measured in city after city. When you add capacity, the newly freed space is quickly filled by people who are waiting for the chance to use it. And over time, that new demand fills the space. The Katy Freeway in Houston is the most dramatic example. After a massive expansion, up to 26 lanes in some sections, travel times didn't improve. They got worse. The morning commute became 30% slower. The evening commute climbed even higher. The highway didn't fail. It succeeded so well that more people used it, and the congestion returned. But the reverse can also happen. In 2017, a fire caused a major section of Interstate 85 in Atlanta to collapse. A critical artery vanished overnight. The prediction was gridlock. The reality was the opposite. Traffic adapted. People changed routes, shifted schedules, and reduced trips. The city kept moving. In Seoul, an elevated highway carrying over 100,000 cars a day was removed. Not reduced, removed. Traffic didn't collapse. It redistributed. Patterns changed, and travel times improved. In Stockholm, when congestion pricing was introduced, traffic entering the city dropped by roughly 20% almost immediately. Travel times became more predictable. Air quality improved, and public support increased after people experienced the results. These aren't exceptions. They show the same pattern from different angles. Traffic expands to fill available space and shrinks when that space is limited. So, what actually works? Not chasing maximum speed, but maintaining stable flow. Not adding lanes, but managing when and how roads are used. Tools like ramp metering, demand smoothing, and pricing don't eliminate traffic, but they make it predictable. And predictability is what people value most. A commute that always takes 30 minutes is far better than one that averages 20, but sometimes takes 60. The goal isn't zero traffic, it's reliable traffic, because in the end, those mysterious jams, the ones with no accident, no construction, no visible cause, aren't mysteries at all. They're the natural outcome of how roads are designed and how we drive. Once you understand the patterns, the brake light horizon looks different. It's not madness. It's the hidden architecture of everyday life, revealed for a moment, then disappearing again as the road opens up. If you enjoyed this breakdown, consider subscribing. Around here, predictability isn't a luxury. It's the whole point.